Turn it off. Look at, is there a reset button on here? Does anybody know it? Like he robbed a bank? Yeah, exactly. Lockdown mode.
Is he on a fucking spaceship?
He's got E. coli in his hand.
Oh man! Wow.
Dude, that last step.
Oh.
So he's lucky he didn't break his leg.
Oh, it's fucking funny as shit. And here we got Beesman playing pickleball.
Pickleball.
Getting into a little fucking tilt. Oh, Beesman, calm down, eh?
I missed that one.
Oh!
Hold on.
Oh,
Oh,
No, I don't want that.
here comes the outsiders.
Not that.
dude, the sound of that shit makes, man, is the best.
Look kerfuffle.
Oh, right there.
Oh,
Those things hurt, Brian?
Yeah.
yeah.
Hit him with the side of it, too. Look at that.
Yeah, them shits hurt.
That's not fair.
What a horrible punch.
The fucking wind up.
I would let him just hit me so I could laugh at him.
Oh, I wish he hit him with that one right there, the fucking uppercut. That would have been the best, dude, right
No
there.
way. You just give him a forehand return.
Kicked him.
Oh, right his ankle.
Oh, he hit the glass. Hey, he hit the glass.
So not only that guy got hit twice, and then he punched the fucking.
Mm-hmm. Glass. Honey, how was your pickleball match?
Pickleball. Hold on. Damn. Damn it, I can't see. Present, share screen, backing tracks. Let's go ahead and get where are we here? C group backing track in A minor. Like we already did that one. No, we're not doing. No, we're not doing funk. What is this? Broken Bones rock guitar backing track jam and F sharp minor. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And I'm using Brave, so hopefully there won't be any commercials. Chad Foster, what's up? Alright, I don't like that. It tells me to play an F sharp Dorian. I don't like that either. Okay, we'll go back to the easy group backing track in A minor. Which is that one. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That better? Whoops. Cushman. forgot to turn off the wall. No, I turned off the wall. There's just with delay. Still a bit. My guitar is too hot. Fuck, I can barely hear it through my headphones. Hang on. Ugh. I don't know. I have to go back and I don't know. Johnny Heartbreaker. Well, I pinned the comment. Buddy, come on. Alright, let's go back to something else on the backing track. Oh boy. Fuck it. I'm just gonna play what's coming up here. Sorry, Steve. I'm gonna need smoke for this one. A little bit longer delay time. And probably some wah. I'm gonna have to play the funk one too, because that's next in line. Turn some delay down though. A lot of. Yeah, I'm playing the same stuff. Here. Oh wait, that was the same one. I don't want to play that one. What's up, brah?
I heard, dude.
Floyd Moore. This is, of course, in A standard.
Well, yeah, but what key is it?
A.
A major or A minor?
A minor. Hit it, Ingve. That's the right dot. Uh-oh.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second.
That one's in B minor.
Okay, so I want you to see something.
Uh-oh. What the? Just your E string rings out? What are you tuned to? What is that?
E.
E. Oh. They're all E notes?
Yep.
Why?
I'm doing some tracking for a guy, and it's an original track, so I'm not going to play it until he's released it. But it's like a spooky kind of. It could be incidental music, like in a vampire movie or something. Do you know what I mean? It's a dark, haunting, slightly kind of Middle Eastern sounding vibe kind of thing, and so what it means is because I've got 6 E's. So obviously everything on every string is the same, but it means that I can do stuff. I can play tonal clusters, which you can't normally play on a guitar. So I can play, like, do you know what a tetrachord is?
No.
Okay, so a major scale or any scale, like a normal 7-note scale, is divided into 2 tetrachords. So the first tetrachord of a major scale is, and then the second tetrachord is. That's it. All right. But obviously on a guitar, you can't play all the notes at once, whereas you can on a piano or a harp or whatever.
Right.
Whereas now I can play that. I can play all 4 of those notes simultaneously.
Oh, wow.
And get some real spooky stuff.
Yeah.
Happen. So, yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
And obviously anything that you play, cleaner sound here. It doesn't matter what string you do it on.
Right.
So you can slide bars around and that sort of stuff. So all sorts of weird droney things you can do.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering why you were
Playing the weird things I was?
in the very beginning. I was like, okay, yeah, exactly, yeah.
So it's 2 low E's, 2 middle E's, so like the D 2nd fret,
Right.
and then 2 high E's. But what I've done is I've done like an 8 and a 9, and then a 20 and a 21, and a 42 and a 44. So they have subtly different timbres to them because there's subtly different tensions. So it's kind of fun.
So that gets that Middle Eastern, but yeah, I get what you mean.
And it doesn't matter which open strings you drone, because they're all E's.
Steve's learning us stuff. Which I can't do in my fully floating Floyd.
And that's what I use this guitar for. Is whenever I want to do something goofy, it tends to be on this.
Yeah.
Because it's a hardtail. It's got a Floyd nut, so I don't have to recut the nut in order to.
Right. Especially if you want to put different string gauges.
Yeah. It's kind of fun.
So what? I can't see your bridge pickup. Is that another humbucker? Ah, so HSH.
Yeah, but it's on a 5-way. Plus this has a piezo rig in it.
Ah.
So if I conjure up one of my acoustic models, hang on. Hoopla. So what should I do? Like a D45 or something?
Yeah.
Okay, then.
An $8,000 Martin.
Yeah. And do it with a offshore PV. Seriously.
That actually sounds really interesting. I always like, well, I'll call them piezo. On an electric, especially if you run through the right, well, back in the day, the right, like a keyboard amp or a direct box to the PA. And
I've actually, in my hoard of shit, I've actually got a big old aluminum flight case back there with, Rain preamps and EQs in it. Remember Rain?
yeah,
R-A-N-E?
yeah.
They did some crazy high-end stuff.
Yeah, I used to, I would put like, what was the Fishman Power Bridge or whatever in the Strat. I would play it in the store for customers and like, oh, this is great. And they get home and call me and go, man, it sounds like shit. Well, what are you playing through? My 5150 half stack. Well, there you go. Besides busting out his piezo tomorrow.
Yep. So it's kind of fun what you can do with it.
Oh my God, yeah. Totally different approach with just the piezo even, but the tuning's crazy.
It doesn't matter what pair of strings I do those E's on.
Now, what body is that? Because is that double binding?
Yeah, it's the PV Generation.
Oh yeah.
But this is the one with the factory, like the Graphtec Acoustasonic in it.
Oh.
I bought this off PV, brand new, with an absolute pretzel of a neck for $20 Canadian.
Oh my God.
Brand new.
A pretzel neck.
Yeah, and so I just grafted an old RG neck onto it, and away we went.
They had. Is that the Strat body that they came out with that had the real nice tops and it's a Generation? They came out with a series that I really liked, man. They were short money.
I don't know, to be honest.
Is that a square heel? A 5-bolt. Is that a 5-bolt?
It is. 5-bolt and contoured.
Here's a question for you.
In a fever dream. Was that a Richie Kotzen reference? No, I had seen somebody else do an all D tuning. Soundgarden did E on one of the songs on Bad Motorfinger. I can't remember which one. So I mean, and that's 30 years ago. So yeah, it's not new. But yeah, it's kind of fun that you can, which usually sounds like Soundgarden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to try that one? The Tasty Funk Groove in B minor?
Why not? I do have regular guitars here too. So.
Ah.
But I'll give it a go. I'll take it off piezo. Piezo. That was 2042. Where am I going? In B, right?
B as in bruh.
B for ball.
Jimmy's got the generation down. He's got all of them. That didn't work.
Hey, Ma.
getting there. There we go. That's it.
There you go then.
And it's over.
I'll stop then. Or maybe I won't.
So what is that one? I don't know if I've seen that.
No, it's my made in Switzerland blade.
Blade.
Kind of fancy.
See a big
Gary-
volume knob.
Gary Levinson. That's a normal Strat knob.
Maybe because there's no knobs on the other.
Yeah, there's an active EQ. So basically, it's a three-way. So in the middle, it's Strat. But if I push it up, it goes to like a bright kind of 50s chime.
Oh yeah.
And then down, it sort of fans it up with a bit of mid-boost.
So is that some kind of board under the pickguard or something for that?
There's a battery box, and there's three tiny little holes in there with trim pots, so you can dial.
I was wondering if it had adjustments.
Let me see if I can. Yeah, if you can see the three
Yeah, I
holes.
see 'em. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's little trim pots and little trim pots in there, you know. So that's it. But this guitar is the reason why I basically don't own any American Fenders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it kicks the shit out of all of
just
them.
kills them. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was checking out that Anderton's video on that $79
I know
fucking
the
fractal killer.
GP5, whatever they call
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah. My God.
It's crazy, isn't it?
And I saw, you know, we were talking about Fractal and Kemper.
Yeah.
I saw Kemper came out with their Kemper Mark II, which looks pretty much the same as they had the toaster version of it, or the lunchbox, whatever they call it. And
Yep.
want to do one more?
Sure. What
Here.
you got there?
Let's see if you
isn't
can.
Floyd.
Here, we'll scroll down them and you pick one there. That's the.
Well, why don't we just do Soul Funk Blues? That thing. It's a pretty guitar.
That's I like the blue quilt, but it's too much color in the back. And blue and red just doesn't. I'm sorry. It's probably a PRS too. $27,000.
No, I don't think that's a PRS. The body shape's slightly wrong. I wonder what that is. What can I see inlays? No.
No, it's got bird inlays.
Yeah, maybe
Look
it is a
closely.
PRS. Yeah,
Yeah,
you could be right there.
I could be right, but I may be crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, what key are we in?
M. Stop doing that. And that. Shaman.
It's about the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was riffalicious.
It was, wasn't it? It was like licktastic.
Licktastic.
Yes.
Hi, kids. We're
HP.
You're welcome, Johnny Heartbreaker. Sounds like either a bad '50s motorcycle movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in black and white, like
The rebel without a clue.
yeah. Well, that was a good movie.
Rebel without a clue.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Rebel without a cause?
Oh, without a clue. Is that like the Shaving Ryan's Privates movie that you get
Yeah,
up there in
probably.
Canada? Oh, the movie I sent you was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but I guess you can't see that up in Canada, right?
No, because it probably resembles news that might criticize our government, so I have to pretend it doesn't exist.
Who's the oh, this is in Britain, I think. Who's the guy that just got out of prison for he posted some video that was talk bad about the government, so they put him in prison?
It seems like a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, Rebel without a two. Y'all have a beer and a Johnny Heartbreaker on the side. All right, kids.
Yeah, give me a Johnny Heartbreaker.
Any exciting? Today's Thursday. We're actually going on tomorrow.
No, it's still Wednesday here now. Thank
Oh
you very
well.
much.
Use the metric system
It's
for your
still
clocks.
Hump Day.
Okay, we'll see you guys either sometime tomorrow if I feel like it, or definitely Friday.
Definitely Friday.
Okay. Should I go now, Mr. Bohr?
Sure.
Oh, you are. Okay, we're gonna
Okay,
end this.